What's up, everybody? Hey, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm gonna continue reading They Shook Hands. This Harry Potter fanfiction is one of my favorites. No, it is my favorite. Scratch that. It is my favorite Harry Potter fanfiction, without a doubt. It's excellent writing, Basically, what would have happened if Harry became friends with Draco Malfoy, that kind of scenario. It was written by Deathroll. He's a gifted writer, and speaking of Deathroll, he actually started on year 7 of They Shook Hands. The first chapter is up on fanfiction, so that's pretty cool. He finally got started on year 7. It took 6 years in order for him to finally start the first chapter, so that's pretty cool. He's obviously been busy with his personal life, but he's finally getting ready to finish They Shook Hands, and, he already started with year 7, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, I'm going to read chapter 5 of They Shook Hands, year 1. So here it is. They Shook Hands, year 1, chapter 5, Settling In. Morning came very quickly for all the tired first years, but the anticipation of attending their first classes quickly burned away any sleepiness. Elon came into the room first thing and woke them all. Orientation began meeting in 15 minutes, he said. They quickly rose and pulled on slippers and dressing gowns before filing into the common room where Elon and the other prefects were sitting. Harry sat down in one of the beanbag chairs near the fireplace because he was slightly cold. He was quickly joined by Dracy, Draco, Pansy, and Theo. Millicent pulled over a high back chair which you can now see was amply padded. Crabbe and Goyle leaned against the wall, trying hard not to yawn. Blaze, Sabini, and Daphne Greengrass, not quite as well acquainted with their little group, stood slightly apart from everyone else. Most of you know me, but for those who don't, my name is Elon Octavio Malfoy. I'm a 5th-year prefect, and this is our orientation meeting. I'd like to introduce Abraham Montague, one of our 6th-year prefects. Abraham? A dark-haired boy stood from the group seat at the table. Good morning. I must apologize for making you get out of bed at such an ungodly hour, but you were so tired last night I had to postpone until this morning. There are certain things you always know if you're going to see here in Slytherin House. It's our job as prefects to make sure you know these things. Now, this is the 6th years you don't have owls or new to study for. We're the ones who put you in charge of your first years. Make sure that you don't get lost, hurt, or otherwise in trouble. Basically, we'd have to look out for you. We? Tracy asked. Abraham smiled at her. I was just about to introduce my counterpart, the lovely Jessica Conjago. Just stand up. A pretty Spanish girl with mounds of curly black ringlets rose gracefully to her feet. Good morning. If those we 6 years who are in charge of you, come to any of us prefects with questions or concerns. This is Peter Von Erickson, she said, pointing to a tall, well-muscled boy, and Molly Archer, the 7th years. A pretty blonde girl who was wearing too much to make a smile that waved at them. Elon, of course, the elder Malfoy, rose to his feet and took a deep bow, and Jamie Davis, who most people already know, representing the 5th years. Tracy, older sister, a short girl with very chic blonde hair, also stood up, though she dropped a graceful curtsy rather than bowing. Abraham cleared his throat. The most important thing I can say to you is that Slytherins stick together. We can show the outside world no crack in our armor, no gap in our defenses. We must have complete solidarity. This means you can support your fellow Slytherins no matter what. Take up your personal problems in private, preferably here in the lair, where no unfriendly ears can overhear. Jessica continued that line of thought. Solidarity is our best defense. The other houses, most notably Gryffindor, hate us. We have a half ally in Ravenclaw House, but we can truly only depend on ourselves. Now then, here are the ground rules of Slytherin House at Abraham. 1. Never take the blame for anything. 2. To avoid taking the blame, never get caught. 3. If you do get caught, deny everything and blame someone else. 4. No member of Slytherin House is to maltreat another in any way at all if there's anybody from another house watching. 5. Blood does matter. Ability matters more. 6. There is no Rule 6. 7. Slytherin does not mean Junior Death Eater. Now then, you left out Rule 8. Loyalty is not just for Hufflepuffs. Jessica interrupted him. Oops, Abraham said, slightly embarrassed. You're going to do fine, I know what he assured them. If you have problems with classwork, you can come see your prefects, preferably us 6th years though if we're not around. Any of the others will gladly help you out. Jessica grinned at them. If you have problems with other students, as is bound to happen, we'll be glad to help you out. We won't fight your battles for you, so you're going to have to take care of the problem yourself, but we'll give you all the advice you could want. Harry noticed that Jessica had a very nice smile. Don't worry about getting lost during your first week. We, said Abraham, indicating himself and Jessica, we'll be here in the common room every morning to provide directions, and to top it all, we'll actually take you to your first lesson of each class. I think it covers the basics, doesn't it, Peter? Asked Jessica, turning to face other prefects at their table. It does, Peter replied, nodding his head. It's getting time for breakfast. Why don't you all have a shower and be back here in 30 minutes? We'll guide you back up to the Great Hall. Feeling very reassured about everything, Harry went to get his bath things. So our being Slytherin is pretty great. Nice to know they're looking out for us, he commented as he trudged down the hall to the bathroom. Solidarity, Harry, solidarity. That's what makes our house strong. House divided cannot stand. That's pretty profound for 0730, Draco snickered. 0730, my foot in your bum, Theo threatened. Draco clapped his hands to his cheeks and made a quivering, wibbling sound. Although not anything but that, he mocked. Guys, not before breakfast, Harry said, pushing the bathroom door open. He softened his tracks. Wow, he breathed. The bathroom was an impressive sight. The floor was tiled with a pattern of silver and green and delivered in house colors. The long row of sinks mounted on the near wall had bright silver handles. The shower stalls along the far wall had highlights of recurrence of beautiful mythological scenes. A door immediately ahead read WC on it. Pretty impressive, said Draco, looking around. Crab grunted and shifted towards the showers. The water was instantly warm, just the temperature Harry liked. He concluded it must have a spell on it, as he said as much to his friends. Some parents have made a big investment about 3 years ago, Draco told him, raising the voice he heard about above the noise of the showers, pressing that it wasn't fair for us to have such miserable dungeon conditions. So get the nicest bathroom, aside from the prefix bathroom, of course, with specific charms in each shower to adjust the water to the proper temperature. The shampoo and the conditioner never run out. There's also a way to turn the shower stall into a proper bathtub. Neat, Harry said, echoed by Theo. With towels wrapped around their waists and pajamas in hand, the boys straggled back to their room at their own pace. Pulling on a brand new uniform and robes, Harry felt excitement starting to build again. Back in the common room, they were joined by Millicent, Tracy, and Daphne. They once again relaxed in the beanbag chairs while they all waited for Pansy to come out. Theo couldn't relax, kept popping up to pace nervously. "I'm hungry," he finally burst out. "So what else is new?" called Pansy's mocking voice. She sped out the girl's corridor and smirked at Theo. "You're smart-mouthed, girl. Enough," Jessica said sternly. "We're about to go on and face the rest of the school. The time for bickering is over. Now we are all united." So then back to the maze of dungeon tunnels. Harry was awake enough now to understand they were walking in a very big, almost circle. He chose not to say anything, though as it seemed to be the shortest route. Finally, they came up to the stone steps into the castle proper. Then up some marble stairs, and they were back in the Great Hall. There were already many students eating, and the Slytherin first years wasted no time finding seats and filling their plates. Harry helped with perhaps the best cooked breakfast he ever enjoyed. The little fried tomatoes were scrumptious. He piled in the eggs while everyone else dug deep into the serving platters. Breakfast, Ellen said, around a mouthful of food is the most important meal of the day. "Has breakfast given you the schedules yet?" Abraham asked between forkfuls. She nodded. "I'll take it the first years if you want to get the others." "Sounds good." Jessica handed Harry a schedule. He stopped eating to study. It was written in a very neat script, something Harry had yet to master with the quill. "Herbology first thing with Ravenclaw," Theo said. Pansy swallowed a bite of toast. "Aw, equal takings because he has girlfriend Mandy," she teased. Theo growled there. "I'm going to throw you off the top of the astronomy tower," he promised. She fluttered her eyelashes. "Oh, you want to take me up to the astronomy tower?" They heard last night from the second years that their oldest students sometimes had romantic escapades up the top of the astronomy tower under the stars. Theo concentrated on eating his eggs and toast, obviously giving up on trying to get the last word in for this argument. "After Herbology, we have History Magic with Hufflepuff." Drake was looking closely at the schedule. He grimaced. "There's mudbloods in Hufflepuff. After lunch is Charms, then Transfiguration. Blimey, they lay thick on thick the first day." Harry finished his breakfast, drank his last of his milk. Everyone else was finishing as well. "Herbology is very easy to get to," Abraham said. "Follow me." Jessica brought up the rear as Abraham led them out of the Great Hall and through the corridors to a large set of double doors. They stepped out into the open light and saw a number of large greenhouses. "You're in Greenhouse 1, which is just ahead there. We'll be along to Scory to History and Magic. Have fun and do the house proud." Herbology, taught by a tubby little witch called Professor Sprout, was a very interesting class. Harry did his best to remember things from 1,000 magical herbs and fungi as irrelevant to subjects, so he understood most of the professor's lecture. The greenhouse made an interesting class since it was filled with live specimens. Abraham just commented on the double doors and led back to the castle. "Well, my lads, ladies, what do you think?" he asked them. Do you like Herbology?" "It was interesting," said Harry. "Boring," yawned Crabbe. "Yeah," yawned Goyle. "No, it was pretty cool," disagreed Theo. "Not too bad," said Millicent. "I'm going to hate it," said Tracy. "I had quite a poor dirt." "A poor? What did you have for breakfast? A dictionary?" Draco asked her. "Shut up, Malfoy. I'm going to poison you as soon as the Professor Spout shows which planet is Nightshade," Pansy said cheerfully. "I'm going to throw Pansy off the top of the astronomy tower after our lesson," he replied just as cheerfully. "Ah, the love. You can cut it with a knife," Jessica smiled. "This way to History of Magic," Abraham said as he led the way. Harry's excitement after reading the text over the summer was dashed. History of Magic was the most boring class alive. Except that it wasn't alive. In fact, it was quite dead. Professor Binns was a ghost. He had been very old indeed when he had fallen asleep in one of the staff room fire and got up the next morning to teach, leaving his body behind him. Binns droned on and on with his scribbled out names and dates, and got Emmerich the Evel and Unuric the Oddball mixed up. Crabbe and Goyle took the opportunity to go back to sleep. Harry struggled to keep his eyes open. This is certainly not what he had in mind when Hagrid told him he was a wizard. The only person who was taking active interest in the lecture was Hermione Granger. Everyone else slouched back in their chairs, barely awake, but the Muggle which was perched at the edge of her seat, scratching her quill furiously, seeming determined not to miss a single thing. She appeared to be at hard at work, just like a good Hufflepuff. Harry caught Harry's attention and tipped his head in Grindelwald's direction while rolling his eyes and making a funny face. Harry smiled with a snort of laughter and wrote down less but unlikely in his notes. Avery just met them outside the class and didn't bother to ask how the lesson had gone. Apparently, the entire faces were testament enough. As he followed along back towards the Great Hall, Harry was looking forward to lunch. Some food which was just thing to perk him back up. That was when he noticed the whispers. Harry presence was being noted by other students. They stared at him. They stared at Scar. They gawked at him, not caring if he saw them or not. Even made eye contact with them. They still seemed in awe. It was unnerving and really hard to cope with. And they started to take a seat facing the wall when they went to lunch. After lunch, Jessica led him to the Charms corridor. Plus, it turned out to be a tiny little wizard who had to stand on a pile of books to see over his desk. As started class took the roll call, reached Harry's name. He gave an excited squeak and toppled out of sight. They spent the class learning the proper way to hold the wand for charm work. Professor McGonagall was getting different. Harry had been quite right to think she wasn't teacher to cross. Certain clever she was talking to the moment they sat down in her first class. Her inspiration was the most complex, dangerous magic you'll learn in Hogwarts, she said. Anyone caught fooling around my class will leave and not come back. You have been warned. They changed her chest into a pig and back again. They're all very impressed and couldn't wait to get started, but soon realized they weren't going to be changing the furniture and animals for a long time. They're taking a lot of complicated notes. They just given a match started to turn into a needle. By the end of the lesson, Millicent managed again, and for a match to become pointy, Dale managed to turn into silver, but none of the rest had any luck. After the last class, the first deliverance all returned to servants later to drop off their belongings. It was only half past 4, though, and dinner was 2 hours away. Harry decided he was going to do some more reading, but quickly changed his mind to Draco and invited him to the exploding snap. The game was simple enough, but the risk of being burned led to a rather keen edge. Crabbe and Goyle, both of them being clumsy and awkward, took far more than their share of burns. Wilson was the one who escaped injury. Harry's nursing sore fingers on the way upstairs to the Great Hall. The girls had made a detour to the laboratory with the boys on their own as they came out of the stone walls, the dungeon, into the marbled line of sickness that was the front entryway. 4 year first year Gryffindor boys are coming in the marble stairs at the same time. Remember how nice the woman on the platform had been? Harry waved. Hi, Weasley. The red-haired boy stopped and gave him a cold look. His eyes briefly snapped up to the scar on Harry's forehead. What do you want, Slytherin? He asked in a nasty tone. Nothing, Harry said, startled by the rebuff. I just wanted to say hi. Weasley didn't say anything else, but the sneer in his voice said more than enough. He turned and went out to catch up with the others Gryffindors. Do you know him, Harry? Asked Draco. No, not really. I saw him outside of the platform. His mother was the lady asked how to get through to the barrier. I just thought I'd say hi, but I didn't expect him to be such a tosser. What's his name? Theo asked. Ron Weasley, Harry replied. Weasley. Theo let the word roll out around his mouth. He managed to make it sound quite distasteful. I know the name, Draco said shortly. Hey, Weasley, sneered in Ron's direction. Weasley stopped and looked over back his shoulder. This time, Longbottom and the other two boys stopped to wait for him. That's right, I'm talking to you, Weasel, Draco drawled insultingly. Who are you? What do you want? Draco stepped closer and Crabbe and Goyle moved up to flank him. Standing a short distance behind, they looked like bodyguards, serious, unfriendly expressions on their faces. I'm Malfoy, Draco Malfoy, Draco said, drawing his words once more. This is Crabbe, he said, gesturing left with his head, and Goyle. And this is Goyle. He continued gesturing right, flipping his hair around. Draco Malfoy? Weasley asked, trying to express a snicker. Think my name is funny, do you? Note that I have no need to ask your name. My father told me that the Weasley family has red hair, freckles, and more children they can afford, he sneered. Weasley's face was turning red. Shut up, Malfoy. You got a lot to talk to me that way. You got a lot of nerve to be rude to Harry the way you just were. I think you owe him an apology. Get stuffed. I don't apologize to Slytherins. I don't think you like your attitude. Isn't that a shame? You better watch yourself, Weasley. Nasty things happen to those who don't respect their betters. When they come along, I'll make sure to take notice. You got an answer for everything, don't you, Weasel? I bet, Draco broke off, staring at Ron's feet. If you're wearing muggle trainers and then not even getting ropes that cover them up, you are a poor excuse for a wizard. Weasel was sizing up Crabbe and Goyle, his eyes flared back to Harry briefly and flicked to Theo and back to Draco. He threw a quick look back over his shoulder at Thomas and Finnegan. He glanced at Longbottom. Harry knew he was trying to decide if they could beat the odds. Weasley took a deep breath. Anytime I find how much of a wizard I am is fine with me, Malfoy. He turned his back and walked to the Great Hall, trailed by his friends. What was that all about, Harry asked. Some wizarding families are better than others, Harry. Weasleys actually like Muggles. Like all the atrocious things that Muggles can do to each other. They forget the awful things the Muggles have done to us. Well, we don't forget. His tone was so brave. Fascinated with their primitive culture, their primitive science. Turned their backs on the wizarding world. They have. It's a wonder their blood has been diluted to nothing by now. You sound rather elitist, Harry said. You can tell him in Muggle school that people were equal. Draco raised an eyebrow. Of course we are. Even the Muggles still have their royals around. Royalty is the most stable form of rule, the form that best serves the people. With one person to issue orders, things get done as no silly obstacles like politics or running for re-election. There's plenty that codswallop every time the Minister of Magic is up for office. But look what happens in most Muggle royalties, Harry said. Revolutions. Further proof, Draco crowd, that Muggles are uncivilized. Muggle royals often took only the privileges of the rank and station, but not the responsibilities. The children grew up spoiled brats. That's why they were overthrown. A child properly raised to child responsibility and common decency going to be a wise and benevolent ruler. Is it telling you that royal theories also includes elected officials through a parliament which reflects the will of the people? Theo interjected. You have a whole theory about this? Harry was amused. It was a project my father assigned us. Theo answered. Myself, Draco, Pansy, Millie, and Tracy. He was your tutor, right? Harry remembered that from Draco's letters. Yes. He taught us all about magical theory and philosophy, Draco said. Sometimes he would bring guests to speak with us. He didn't want us to be limited to one viewpoint. Our parents wanted us to be able to think, to not just follow blindly. Yeah, well, stop pontificating and blindly follow yourself into that hall. You're in the way, Tracy said as the girl was up the stairs. Pansy elbowed Theo out of the way, even though he wasn't really into it. Stop what? Draco asked, confused. Pontificating. It means Malfoy is like a bitch, he smirked at him. Hey! Come on, dinner is waiting, Pansy said. She shoved Theo towards the doors. Dinner was some sumptuous affair, though quite not with the grandeur of the welcoming feast. Some of Harry's favorite foods were on the menu and he was hungry. Okay, so this is part 1. I'll read part 2 of chapter 5, They Shook Hands, year 1. Take care, everybody.